Welcome in, everybody, to Scouts Eye on College Football. This is Big Ten football and beyond on the Off the Hook Sports YouTube channel, as well as the Landry Football Podcast Network, a collaborative effort. We want to encourage you to subscribe, like, and share both of those. Yes, Off the Hook Sports YouTube channel. If you like shows like this, the way to make sure that you get more of it is to subscribe, like, and share what we're doing. If you do those three things, we would appreciate it. Also, the Landry Football Podcast Network, subscribe, like, and share that as well. We're going to break down all the games in the Big Ten this week. Got some intriguing matchups, some not so much, but we're going to hit them all. Tell you what's going on, how we see them. A reminder, though, we've got more detailed film room breakdowns of all of these games inside the Big Ten, as well as all the other games in every other conference over at LandryFootball.com. So make sure that you check it out. Take advantage of the football season sale. Jump on that because that'll get you the best deal we got going, and that'll get you everything for a full calendar year from this time forward. If you want to try it out for a month, you can. If you just want to get the rest of the football season, go get the 6 months deal. We've got that for you. So make sure that you check it out at LandryFootball.com, where you can get coaching and scouting analysis for less than a magazine subscription, have your own coaching and scouting department. So make sure that you take advantage of it and get a coaches and a scout's eye viewpoint of these games, of the players, of the teams, of the coaches. Get all the inside information on coaching searches, transfer portal, recruiting, the draft, you name it. We got it all for you there. So let's take a look around the league. We're going to go through each of the games. Some of them good, some of them not so good. I tell you, what's been pretty good is Illinois. Turnovers were very costly against Indiana. Team is 2-1, and again, turnovers could be 3-0, but they're not. Chattanooga's 3-0. That's who's coming to town. The 3-0 Mocs are good enough to pull this off because they have the lines that can hold up against the physical Illinois team. So be careful here. The offensive front is really good in pass protection. The pass rush has been good. The run defense isn't allowing a whole lot. Illinois is better up front on both sides. But I don't think this is going to be as dominating physically as people might think in the Big Ten or Illinois. They don't know this Chattanooga team. Chattanooga doesn't make a ton of mistakes. There's not enough explosion to come up. There is enough explosion rather to come up with a few big plays. And again, the offensive line to work behind to get A.M. Ford rolling, the running back that's really good. On the flip side, Illinois has had a problem with penalties. The downfield passing game is not functional, and there's been a big problem finishing off drives, getting the ball in the end zone. Now, Illinois has the balance. Getting the passing game working has been a problem for past Illinois teams, but former Syracuse quarterback Tommy DeVito has settled the position. The run game has been pretty good behind a good line. DeVito is able to hit the third down throws so far. He's thrown for 645 yards and run for 672. He's been really effective for him. It's not an exciting style, and there's not a lot of flash. It's Brett Bielema after a while. There's no flash. It's steak and potatoes. But it's an effective offense and a strong team. And it's a physical team and a late stop from Indiana away from being 3-0. Chattanooga might be able to keep this close. I don't know that they're going to be able to get it done without Illinois' help. I mean, I think this game could be a little closer than you might think. I think Chattanooga is going to make it interesting, but come on, Illinois, you got to take care of business at home. I think they will. By how much? Got that for you. Check it out at LandryFootball.com. Hey, Maryland, Michigan, the noon Fox, the big noon game. We'll know a little bit more about Michigan, and we'll certainly know more about Maryland after this week. Look, you play who you play, but you can't overreact positively or negatively when you play weak opponents, particularly positively. This Terp passing game is playing pretty well, and it's the toughest attack offensively that this Michigan defense has seen thus far. Taulia Tagovailoa has been in total command. He's been real effective, thrown for 895 yards, 6 touchdowns, a couple of picks. They've got really good receivers. Raheem Jarrett, Deshaun Jones, the tight end Corey Dyches has been fantastic. The running game is averaging over 6 yards a carry, and there are not any real misfires when the offense gets its chance scoring. Now, the defense is just okay, but it's finally starting to get some takeaways. It's got 3 turnovers forced against a very good SMU offense, and the pressure is going to be on the Michigan offensive side now. We'll see what they're able to do. J.J. McCarthy is the main man now. He was winning the job, but with Cade McNamara getting hurt, they don't have somebody they can turn to if J.J. goes down. So that's one thing you think about. Everybody talks about who's the quarterback, who's the good. You got two, you got none. Not so fast. I think that you're in trouble if you lose J.J. McCarthy now. But let's call it what it is. They've played some bad teams. Connecticut's a bad team. The offensive line is probably better than last year's team, at least the way I see it on film and just looking at the roster. Not what they've done against those weak opponents, but I think they have better personnel. So I think the defense can run the football well. The pass protection's been pretty good. I don't think there's a big worry against a Maryland defense that doesn't get into the backfield and hasn't been really solid against the run. So I do think both offenses have a chance here. I think Michigan's offense is really good. I think Maryland's defense is not. I think Michigan's defense is a little bit better. Might be even quite a bit better than Maryland. So they haven't seen anything like this Maryland offense this year, but Maryland certainly hasn't dealt with the power and the physicality of Michigan. Think Michigan wins. By how much? We'll see. Can Taulia have his moments? Keep it close. Get it a fast-paced game. We're going to give you a score over at LandryFootball.com when more details and information comes in on player status as we develop it through the week. Central Michigan's at Penn State. Penn State got the big win. Big win for them at Auburn. Even though Auburn's not very good, it's a big win for them. It's not like they got Northwestern is up next. Northwestern is not playing well at all. It looks like they've improved a great deal since that opening game against Purdue. Central Michigan can take advantage of an opportunity, play pretty well. This is not Eastern Michigan. It's, it's not even Western Michigan. Central Michigan's pretty good. They are good at their level, getting into the backfield. The run defense is pretty good. So don't be surprised if the layover effect or the after effects of last week combined with the fact that Central Michigan's better than they think, this game might be a little closer than you might think. Now, Central Michigan doesn't have the passing game to bother this Penn State secondary. The Nittany Lions have allowed yards, but they've given up fewer than 50% completion rate. Auburn also almost hit about 300 yards, but couldn't get anything going. And the pass rush is going to bother Daniel Richardson, the Central Michigan quarterback. So the offensive line hasn't been all that great for the Chippewas. The defense is not going to force enough mistakes. So I expect Sean Clifford to play better, play well. And I think he's playing like a good veteran. I think the team made a statement against Auburn, and I think they're, that game, they'll get more credit for that game than they probably deserve because Auburn's not good. I think they'll take care of business here. Then off to Northwestern, and then we're going to see what Penn State is once they get into conference play. Indiana goes to Cincinnati. The Hoosiers are finding a way to win close games now. Look, they're 3-0. They should have lost to Western Kentucky, perhaps, but they didn't. Maybe could they have lost their opener to Illinois? Yeah, they could have. We just discussed that when talking about the Illini, but they didn't. They aren't making a bunch of mistakes. They got a reliable quarterback in Connor Bazelak who's getting the job done. They're balanced enough to keep the Bearcats offense on the sideline. Cincinnati, unlike Indiana, is having mistake problems. They came up with 10 penalties in every game and lost 6 turnovers so far. It's not the 2021 Bearcats team, but they're playing pretty well. They played Arkansas well. They gave them a big push on the road. The pass rush is good enough to bother Bazelak. Defense has been good against the run. To me, when I look the penalties, have to slow down. The special teams, the coverage team, have to play better. The lines of both sides of the line of scrimmage for Cincinnati's, they're doing a good job. Ben Bryant will continue to be very effective. Look, Cincinnati's the better team here. But if they make a bunch of mistakes, then Indiana can keep it close and have a shot here. We've got the more breakdowns over at LandryFootball.com. Check out the pick there as well. Minnesota at Michigan State. Minnesota is, look, they're number 2 in total offense. That's the stat. It's not overly get excited about it based on who they play, but they're moving the football well. They're number 1 in time of possession, number 2 in rushing offense, number 1 in third down conversions, number 7 in scoring. Yes, it's reflective of who they play, but it's also reflective of how they're playing. The defense is doing a pretty good job. I think at this stage, Minnesota looks like the best team in the Big Ten West. New Mexico State, Western and Illinois, and Colorado are not the reasons. Okay, that's why they've dominated. But they have played pretty well. Abraham is outstanding. Tanner Morgan in the passing game has been really good, and this is a really good team. Michigan State got exposed last week against Washington. Now, that's a better team than Minnesota's played this year, Washington. I don't know that Minnesota could have gone on the road and beaten Washington. But this is the worst pass defense, one of the worst in the country and the worst in the Big Ten last year. And it got lit up again. And I think Minnesota can move the football on it. Washington's fantastic. Okay. The run game is pretty good for Michigan State. We'll kind of see how this plays out. This is going to be a closer game than people might think. For all the good things that the Golden Gophers are doing, they're not getting a bunch of takeaways. Losing Chris Altman-Bell for the season is a problem. So we'll see. They're not real deep. Minnesota's playing more fundamentally sound ball. They're sharp. Just 2 turnovers, just 10 penalties all year long. We got people that are averaging 8 penalties a game. They haven't had 10 penalties in 3 games. Again, playing weak opponents. I get that. Michigan State's going to play better. They should be embarrassed how they were dominated against Seattle. Oh, the score looked like they played better than they did. They were dominated by Washington. So we'll see. Minnesota is controlling time of possession. It's holding the football 40 minutes a game. They look like the tougher, more disciplined team. But how well will Michigan State respond at home? Will they make a statement? We got more details for you at LandryFootball.com on this one. Iowa goes to Rutgers. Defensive Iowa is awesome. We've told you that all year long. The offense awoke a little bit against Nevada last week, but it's look, it's a real problem offensively that I don't think it's going to get. It'll get a little bit better. I don't think it's going to get appreciably better. The running game is bad. The passing attack's bad. Rutgers put a lot of points up on the board against Wagner. They did not play well offensively or defensively against Temple, but particularly offensively. So I still like Iowa here. The defenses for Rutgers is playing well. It's not at Iowa well, but it's good. They're winning on defense. They're 3-0, Rutgers is. Winning on turnover margin, and they're taking advantage of opportunities. They can play Iowa style. I expect it to be low scoring. Think under in this game. Think low scoring. Think, one possession type game. And both defenses are going to take, center stage. I do think Rutgers has been a little bit better offensively on third downs, where they have statistically, but I think on film they're maybe a little bit better. But I think we're going to see the Iowa offense not come alive, but not be so dead. This game could be real interesting. I got a pick for you. May or may not be surprising. Head on over to LandryFootball.com for that on a play of the game. Wisconsin at Ohio State. It's a kind of a premier game setup type, is it's a primetime game on ABC at night in prime time. Thus, it's at night. Great, Landry. Got some questions about how good is this Ohio State defense? Well, we'll see. I think this will be a challenge. I mean, Notre Dame, Arkansas State, and Toledo aren't great tests, but I do think that they're playing more fundamentally sound defense. It's kind of like watching, an Oklahoma, and I think Ohio State's got better personnel than Oklahoma defensively, but you see them lining up better, attacking better. Wisconsin's not going to throw the football a bunch, but it's gonna pound you. And can they do a really good job leveraging the run, setting the edge? This You want to show that you're physical and you can win a slow down game. Here you go, another chance, Ohio State. This is what Wisconsin's going to do. So I do think that you can throw the football in the Wisconsin defense. I think that's going to be Wisconsin's undoing. I think Ohio State's plan is to be able to get some early points, try to spread Wisconsin out. And if they can get some early points, if you can take Wisconsin out of the run game, then Ohio State can win and win going away. The offense for the Buckeyes have just lost one fumble against Arkansas State, and that's it for the turnovers. Just one penalty in the annihilation of a Toledo team. Wisconsin turned it over against Washington State and had 11 penalties. That's not Wisconsin football. And they lost to Washington State at home. Graham Mertz is going to have to play well, but more importantly, they're going to have to play within themselves. They're going to have to win at the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to play a clean game, and then they're going to have to hold on defensively. Is it going to be enough? I got some further thoughts on this game and how I think this game might play out and who I like and by how much. Miami goes to Northwestern. Man, if you get Northwestern to play sloppy ball and turn it over, it unravels. Look, this team, particularly its offensive line, has got better personnel than the 21 team. And we always, and rightly so, like to talk about how great of a job Pat Fitzgerald does. This is not a well-coached team. They're making tons of mistakes. 7 giveaways over the last 2 weeks led to a late the loss against Duke and an unforgivable home loss to Southern Illinois last week. Wow. Northwestern is 1-11 since 2018 when turning it over 2 or more times. But the defense hasn't done its part to pick up the slack. The pass defense has been awful. As bad as we talk about Michigan State's pass defense, Northwestern is worse. And the third down stops are awful. Miami has forced 6 takeaways. So don't count them out. The run defense of Miami hasn't it's looked pretty good, but they're throwing the football on this Miami team. So that's why they've looked at it. Now, Miami's allowed 300 passing game yards to Kentucky and Cincinnati, and now Ryan Alinsky's got to get it going. 3 interceptions over the last 2 games, not what they're expecting. Miami running game's not good enough. The turnovers. Northwestern, that is not like you. I expect them to clean it up, to rely more on the running game, and I think that's going to open up some things in the passing game. So I'm thinking Northwestern's going to bounce back, but no guarantee. Check out the final details of how much over at LandryFootball.com. And then Florida Atlantic goes to Purdue, a Purdue team that's 1-2. Moping a tough loss, perhaps, against Syracuse. Can the Owls surprise them? The Boilermakers were 2 late passes away from being 3-0, losing to Penn State on a late drive and collapsing against Syracuse. And the focus is going to be on Big Ten game against Minnesota next week. Florida Atlantic's going to come in. They're going to throw it around. The passing attack did nothing against UCF, but N'Kosi Perry's had a strong season thus far. The offense is moving. The offensive line is playing pretty well. I think they can keep Purdue out of the backfield. The Florida Atlantic pass defense rather, and the pass rush overall hasn't been off. It's been awful. I don't think they can slow down Purdue. Purdue's going to have to slow down themselves. They have a decent pass rush. I don't think they're going to get to Aiden O'Connell, though. I think he's going to thread the football around well. Can Florida Atlantic keep enough of a pace offensively to make this game close? We've got some further thoughts on that over at LandryFootball.com. Got a pick for you and by how much, and a look at the over and under there as well. Hey, we've got all the detailed film room breakdowns of not just the Big Ten games, but all the conference games, conference by conference at LandryFootball.com each and every week. So check out our football season sale today. Take advantage of it. If you want to try it out for a month, that's great. You want to get the rest of the football season, we got those options as well for a 6-month deal. So make sure that you check it out. Also ask you to subscribe, like, and share the Off the Hook Sports YouTube channel, where you can get this show and all the college shows that we have, as well as sign up for the Landry Football Podcast Network. Subscribe, like, and share that as well. You can get all of our football shows, college, NFL, short versions, long versions. We got them for you there at the Landry Football Podcast Network. So enjoy the games this weekend. We'll be back in the early part of the week to wrap up the games, how they look inside the film room. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. See you on over at the website.